All right, let's talk about the Lions taking on the Cleveland Browns on a short bus shorty week. Short week. Big win over the Baltimore Ravens. Some people feel like that's the biggest win in Lion history. That's a discussion for another video. Um, so yeah, they going against Cleveland. I think now you hear some rumbling saying, "Oh, Baltimore defense wasn't good. Bears defense wasn't good. The Packers the offense is really who they were versus the Green Bay Packers, or the Lions offense is really what they were versus the Green Bay Packers." So, and when you kind of look at the Lions schedule, let's take a look at it. See, it's a very unique schedule. There's still a stigma, even though I know we in the dome this week. It's still a stigma that the Lions can't go outside and they can't play outside. And for the most part, that's been debunked. They won every road game last year. I think most people don't realize, even people that claim to be a fan of the Detroit Lions don't realize it. They didn't lose a road game last year. Every game they won on the road, and kind of the Ravens thing is like, it's the best win. And the one thing that I do understand about that Ravens one, one win I thought was more important than that one. That was more impressive than that one as well too. And then I might be in the minority on this one. I thought the game versus Green Bay last year at Green Bay was most impressive. And it was raining. To check this out, it was raining. It was nasty weather. I know people forget this game. And they went in there and dominated Green Bay. And people probably don't remember this, but Green Bay only scored a garbage time touchdown. I feel like that was the biggest win that I can remember in franchise history. To go in your division rivals' home, and really, they gave up a garbage touchdown. They dominated Green Bay in the rain, in the mixture of rain and whatever else you want to call it. They dominated them, brothers. So just wanted to put that out there. But, they're great, road team. And the unique thing about this particular schedule here is that a lot of your road games is early at Green Bay, at Cincinnati, at Baltimore, at Cincinnati, at Kansas City, at the Commanders, at Philadelphia. After that stretch, your road, you got a lot of road games there the first half. After that stretch, you home at the Giants, home against the Packers, home against the Cowboys. You at LA, you at home against the Steelers. That's a big one. You ain't got to go out in the cold. At the Vikings, at the Bears. So, the whole thing about this schedule is to make it through this stretch. If you can make it through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you can make it through this stretch with 500. If you can make it to this stretch through 500, you'd be happy with that. But if they can get 7-3, then hey, it's on. And this Cleveland game, some people think it's a pushover. Cleveland is got one of the best rosters in football. They just so happen not to have a quarterback. And that just lets you know why one of the first things that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes actually did was go get a quarterback. They had a quarterback. He wanted out. Nobody really gives Matthew Stafford any backlash for quitting, but Calvin got some and Barry got some, which you kind of know why that is, but I'm not going to dig into that. So you think about a guy like Quishon Judkins from Ohio State, Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman, Isaiah Bonds. They had a solid receiver core. David Bill out of Purdue. Offensive line, you see it. Shout out to Jack Conklin still getting it done. Myles Garrett, Malik Collins, Mason Graham, should go blue. Isaiah McGuire. So they got a really good defensive line. Jerome Baker, Carson Schlesinger, Devin Bush, go blue. Denzel Ward, Grant Gelpitt, Ohio State, LSU, Ronnie Hickman, Greg Newsome, shout out Big Ten country from Northwestern. So, yeah, they got a really good football team, man. It's just the quarterback. Now, are the answers on the roster? I don't think Deshaun's the answer. I don't think Flacco's the answer. I don't think Dylan Gabriel's the answer. I watched Dylan Gabriel. Not sure Shador's the answer, but hey, I'm willing to. I can't wait to see it. You know. So yeah, going into this particular game, the Lions are 8.5 point favorites. That line is moved to 9.5. Usually, the rule of thumb is the home team gets three by default, and then it moves from there. So they think the Lions are going to blow out Cleveland. I just love that Cleveland defense. I will say that. Over and under is 45. I believe that's a great number. And money line is 425 Cleveland. So if you bet $100, you win $425. I mean, you can bet anything you want up to the limit or the minimum. Negative 650, you had to bet 650 just to win 100 on the Lions. Little betting advice here, the over and under. That's gonna be interesting. I think for them to get 45 points, both would have to get over 40. Both would have to get 23 points. And we seen versus Green Bay, that was a low scoring game. I don't even think they got 25 combined points, and it was great weather. Um, to be honest with you, Lions in the dome, I think they might give up. Cleveland, I think, could get 17 points. I think the Lions can at least get 20 points. So, it's still not enough. So I'm gonna say they get the over because they'd be on the turf, and I think the Browns will score a couple points. The spread, I'm going under. I don't really see. I could be wrong on that. I don't like almost double digit spreads in the league. That's just me. So they get Cleveland 21.7% chance to win the matchup indicator. Lions 78.1%. They didn't give us a huge chance to beat Baltimore, and we did. So Flacco, not much going on there. 631 passing yards, 2 TDs, 4 interceptions. Goff, 761 passing yards, 7 TDs, 1 interceptions. 1 interceptions. Judikins, 28 carries, 155 yards, 1 touchdown. 34 carries, 233 yards for Dave Montgomery, 3 touchdowns. And H. Fannin Jr., 15 catches, 136 for St. Brown. 20 catches, 4 touchdowns, 237. Myles Garrett already got 4 sacks. Al-Qayyim Muhammad, who may not play, when we thought may not play, will play. So 3.5 sacks. Schwishinger, linebacker, 23 tackles. Jack Campbell, 26 tackles. So the injury report is DeJuan Jones. He's out for the year. David Njoku, questionable knee. Cedric Tillman, a receiver, questionable hand. Brent Delpit, safety, questionable back. Denzel Ward, questionable shoulder. Al-Qayyim Muhammad, knee, questionable. Derek Barnes, questionable knee. Daniel Thomas, safety, questionable forearm. Taylor Decker, questionable shoulder. Sanu Vaki, questionable groin. So I believe the majority of them guys played all last week. Honestly, if you Detroit Lions going into this particular game, you might be like, what do they need to do to win? Defensively, you need to take advantage of the opportunities that you get as far as interceptions. You cannot afford not to go in there and get interceptions. I will say that. They need to go in there and get interceptions, and if they don't get interceptions, it's not going to be a pretty sight. So when you get opportunities to take the ball away, you must take the ball away, okay? Stop the run. Don't let the kid Judikins get to going. Stop the run. Make the Browns one-dimensional. If you don't stop the run and make the Browns one-dimensional, you will regret it, right? If they run the ball and Flacco get the play action, the windows will be wide. So you must stop the run. You must take advantage of the opportunities when fumbles or picks. You must take advantage of those opportunities, and you got to watch a guy like Jerry Jeudy. He's explosive, and you got to wrap up, tackle, and you got to get to the quarterback. Flacco ain't going nowhere these days, but still, you still got to watch the quarterback. For Cleveland, their number one assignment is, take away the run. That's their number one assignment. Take away that run and make the Lions throw the football. They got really good corners, Greg Newsome, Denzel Ward. I think that's their number one thing. Take away the run. And I believe if they can take away the run, they may have an opportunity to have Myles Garrett pin his ears back and those quarters be advantageous, and take away the football. So for them, I think that's the ticket. That's the ticket. Offensively for Cleveland, I mean, like I said, you want to establish the run and then be able to establish play action and be able to get Flacco in some type of rhythm. I feel like if they can run the football, they can get Joe Flacco in rhythm. You know, they can get Joe Flacco in rhythm if they can run the football. If they can't, um, I think it's gonna be harder to get Flacco in rhythm. And this week they would understand they probably need to put up points. They can't continue to lean on their defense in the way they continue to lean on their defense. So they understand they got to put up points. So the Lions offensively, just clockwork, business as usual, run the football, play action, wear that defense down. Maybe play with a little bit of more, pep in their step and wear that defense down. It's already getting wore out. Cleveland defense is great, but they can't keep carrying the slack of the Browns offense. They can't keep carrying that slack, in my opinion, man. So they got to continue to carry that slack. They just gonna wear down through the season, and they gonna look like they're not doing their job. But if I had to guess this game or predict this game, I'm going to say the Lions 28. But we need to get that over, right? I'm gonna say we need to get that over. So the Lions 28. I'm gonna say the Browns 20. I think they cover the spread. I had to remember that they cover the spread. And they cover the spread today. They cover the 48. What is it? 45.5 point spread. But I ain't really too confident about that. But I think 28-20 the Lions. Be a good game. What surprised me is Cleveland shocked them. They do a really good football team. But we'll see what happens. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Check out the Lions prediction video playlist. I appreciate the love and support. Let me know what you girls and guys think in the comment section. Peace.